Всем доброго здоровья. Ой, закончили мы уже практически первый том. Осталась там еще одна глава. Но прежде всего мне хотелось у бабули Шань забрать чайничек один. Прикольный. Вот такой. Поэтому мы начинаем с ней общаться. Так. Где этот чайник? Это даже не бабуля Шань. Это сюда надо. Это надо к мадам Пин. Ладно, поехали. О, мадам Пин. Так, сперва... блин, а цветочки хотел. Искала и нашла. Какой же бабушке не нужна помощь? Глупая птичка. О, подарки, это хорошо. Пайман любит подарки.
Oh, child, you are so very modest, uncommonly so even. But when you traversed my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often camp out in the wilds. That simply won't do, especially since I imagine you still have.
Нам предлагают переносной домик.
I have not yet grown so old as to see myself.
О, это уже интересно.
Did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small... The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
Безделушка?
So, in the eye, creating a magic teapot world is just child.
Oh. Indeed, the teapot is nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other... but that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you...
That's right! Finding stuff's what we're good at, after all.
Да, мы можем искать все, что угодно. Говори, бабуся. Что нам надо найти?
I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am certain. Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. But even more difficult to
Мы
find
люди
is
счастливые,
Lapis
да.
Jadeite,
Нам улыбается удача, но...
the chasm. Or so it used to. In any case, Smaragdus Jadeite is an Adepti treasure, and the Adeptal power within is not something that most goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Well, since you're an Adeptus, Granny, the
Yes. I suppose she does.
Считается
count as
или
an
просто
adeptus.
уже адепт? Или кто она такая, бля?
How come there are so many Adepti in Liyue Harbor?
100%. Куда ни плюнь, в адепта попадешь.
Maybe so. Who can say? A few of my old.
I'm back, Granny.
О, вернулись ножки.
Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yen
Янь-Фэй.
Yen-Fei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his travel.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records.
Шапочка прикольная у нее.
Most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect.
Только это запентила, блин.
After which, you fought off
Глупый
the Millilith
попугай.
at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui.
О, это да.
Finally defeating an ancient god together with her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion. A shame that we didn't meet sooner.
Вот почему жаль.
Well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less. Allow me to introduce myself once more. I'm Yen-Fei, a legal advisor. Got a legal problem? You can come right to me. Oh, yes, here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address.
О, птица-говорун, блин, как любой юрист.
Just leave me a note at this address.
Судебный.
And I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first.
Заткните и кто-нибудь хавальник уже, бля.
let's get to the business at hand. I do not think these two are in any dire...
Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. So, Granny, I've gotten a hold of most of...
Is that so? But Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly after...
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely a no-go, but there's still a chance we can figure...
Вот и думай.
Hold on a moment. Let me have a look.
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in?
Commercial consultancy. Or... Snezhnaya? Ah, found Krustle! A Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal code. He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was so I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some smaragdus jadeite. Or, oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved...
Wow, an adeptus
Боже
imploring
мой.
us to avoid incurring legal liability. That's a first. Best we be a little more careful than usual.
100%. Заговорит до смерти, блин. Товарищ Кроссель?
Hello, Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good. All thanks to your advice, Miss Yanfei.
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now,
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, in the end I did acquire a small piece of smaragdus jadeite, and Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize, I've already rented them out to a lady named Chiao.
Wait, isn't smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Chiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item.
guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need to ensure...
In that case, might you know where Miss Chow lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
Ой. Так. Нам куда? Нам вроде бы туда.
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Что делать? Что делать? Сухари сушить.
Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand for Crossell that you my associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins. I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much
Вот
money.
Маша
If
растеряша.
I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off. We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to... A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the
Наладить
hairpins were for,
контакты.
well, to keep up appearances. I can't have them look, but now that I've
Да.
lost the hairpins, what will...
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of déjà vu?
Да. Будем помогать, а что
I sent a
делать?
commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from...
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Monsieur Chow,
Думаешь, в контракте написано, где она их
Well,
потеряла?
I'm sure I have it right here.
let me see.
That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe true. Though surely there must be a win-win solution.
Right.
Выход
I
всегда
finished
есть.
reading the contract. The terms are very clear. And they do indeed stipulate. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current. And given the rarity of Smaragdus jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation.
Even higher. Oh no.
Uh-oh. Jucho looks like she's about to faint.
Ну, упадет в обморок. Будем делать искусственное дыхание рот в рот.
That it is indeed genuine Smaragdus jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are... Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins.
Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the jadeite is genuine, would there?
Please. Please, Don't trouble yourselves over this. However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants after all. It's vital that we keep our word.
Расслабься, тетка.
I really shouldn't keep Crossel in the dark any longer.
Наш юрист тебе поможет.
Legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But so hold on a moment, Mr. Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were... My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so...
Smooth to the touch. No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's...
Снова господин Кроссель. Привет, господин Кроссель.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see.
About that.
You lost them? Are you serious?
I'm sorry. Truly I am. I'll pay the compensation as...
Mora! Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back.
No problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes. It was in fact genuine Smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course. Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10...
Understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last more.
Да, но что-то мне кажется, господин Кроссель сам будет платить денежки.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you...
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may...
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already...
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, I'm a member of the guild. I don't run thankless... I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of... Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossel's vicinity. If I have deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty...
Торопышка, помолчи, торопышка.
Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. And then, he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately...
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems...
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow...
Господи, как они без бумажек вообще никуда не...
Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track.
Вот именно.
It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned him than a certain someone else we know.
Да, глупая наш
These
юрист.
are my formal terms of
Естественно.
engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written Anywhere commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take...
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now, and I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on
Боже
the
мой.
last page. Finally, if you could just use this ink pad to make a handprint over here.
Охренеть.
This contract has so many pages.
All right, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy. Not for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straight. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite
Нам
the
никогда просто не
experience.
подсовывали левый материал. Мы сами все
Miss
добываем.
Yunfei,
Все,
I
что
have
нам
to
нужно.
ask, why are you...
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some smaragdus jadeite myself. I noticed strong. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter. But either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it.
А сама
But
кто?
again,
Сама такая.
let's not dwell on this. Let's go to... I've got it. Let's pay a visit to Chateau.
О,
the
мы
boss
уже
of
были
the
у
Jade
него.
Mystery.
Толстый дядька.
If Mr. Crossell had his ore worked on at all, Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Идемте кто... О, вот же он толстый. Да твою ж дивизию, блин. Привет, толстый Тоу.
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome. Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is...
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossell enlisted your ore processing service?
A Snezhnayan merchant named I do remember that. He brought me a piece of oak. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really smaragdus jadeite or not. But he was quite generous with his money, too, so I didn't give it...
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
Куда он денется? Конечно, посмотрим. Потом. Ничего себе кусочек отрезал.
If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross sections and patterning suggest... Yes, it's not particularly rare, nor is it especially valuable. I've heard it said that smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
A thin layer of separation, huh?
If you must
Да,
see for
только один
yourself,
изумрудный, второй
try
зеленый.
examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy. Smaragdus nephrite.
Is that so? Well, we might as well give elementals... So, did you find anything? So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao is able to tell what it...
There's nothing special to it. It just so happens that I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference and, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossell...
А ты еще не поняла?
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind
Подсунуть
them.
фальшивку?
Let's take some of these shavings
А
back
деньги
to Chateau.
требовать как за настоящий?
Miss Yunfei?
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please, this document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore.
Yes, I see. Forgive me.
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me.
With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossel won't dare try to deny.
On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think. Jewelry. Aha! Got it! Sinxie. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith.
Синси, привет. Ой.
Oh, Miss Yenfei, it's you. Has something happened?
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel. Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yeah, the design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite...
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here.
Miss Sinxie, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he...
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction... Mr. Crossel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf. I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself. The item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins. The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Sinxie. Now, could you let me borrow this
Sure. It isn't serving much purpose here anyway.
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a minor issue. I'll return your document as soon as I'm done with it.
Большое на здоровье.
Its first reaction assumes someone or something is in trouble.
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with
The weirdo with the snake around his neck?
because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we...
My, to what do I owe the pleasure? Though I'm afraid that if you're looking for our little Chi-Chi,
Нет,
and if it
ты
isn't
нам не
Miss
нужна.
Yenfei as well,
Нам ты
now that's an
нужен.
even rarer honor. What business brings you here, might I inquire?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it. Include the 7 mountain treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring... It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yenfei, and given the specific... I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the...
Абсолютно
That is indeed
верно.
the case. If you would be so kind,
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's... But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to... I wonder, Miss Yenfei, if your pressing business might be related...
you needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baizhu. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due...
You're too kind. Take care now.
И шо?
Guys,
Кто мистер Кроссель? Сейчас вам будет плохо.
Miss Yenfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the...
Of course. Mr. Crossel, you pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original...
Wait, what? Me pay her? Sure.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within this... Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid should the article not be genuine.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yan, I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing of the orc. This is a processing from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business.
Seriously? The boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite. He returned the
That's an unsubstantiated...
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And...
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't...
Hard evidence. Something legally binding. We have
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
Ничего, мы ему по компалу настучим, он перестанет быть.
Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
I'm right. All the evidence shown support...
Well, hang on a moment now, because I do recall one traveler. Would you do the honors? This shall serve as
What's this?
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus?
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient, considering that, as you say, don't worry, Mr. Crossell, I will make sure that all the evidence presented here, I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigation.
Мертвого заболтает, честное слово, бля.
What? Wait!
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear.
Huh? No,
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that... You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Crossell. Your answer, please. My client and I are...
He's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I admit it. Yes, the ore I had inlaid on... But I'm a victim in all of this, too. I invested a great deal of time and money, but after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that that's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented...
Exactly! If they weren't the real...
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then...
All right, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I fail to see what bearing any of this has on...
10 times.
Crossell looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20%...
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite!
There's no need. It's fine. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for...
Ms. Zhiqiao...
However, Mr. Crossell, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead?
What? But all right, then. This
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn the Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as...
Well, that's not quite how the rules say...
Thanks so much for your help this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on
Короче, это Яньфэй обвела всех вокруг пальца своего юридического и на шару заполучила нефрит изумрудный.
Mr. Crossell, it seems that my client has no further claims against...
Is that so?
Конечно, хорошо. Тебе все хорошо.
I'd like to talk, but I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and if we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could...
Let me think for a moment.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus Jadeite that Granny wants too. Well, since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit.
Пойдем к
I bet she's
бабушке.
been-
Так, где бабуся? Привет, мадам Пин.
Ah, you've returned. How good, good. Then we have all the materials we need. There we go. Hold it firmly. If you were to drop it, oh goodness, who knows what might happen.
Судя по тому, что он летает, падать он не собирается.
Blueprints with you as well. You'll need them if you wish to make your...
Wait a minute, Granny. How exactly?
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I've already arranged for a certain little help.
Так. Заходим сюда. Так, это не здесь, это здесь вот. Размещаем.
Is there time for...
И заходим в чайник. Так, и выбираем. Плывучий обитель, изумрудный пик. Остров прохлады. Мы это выберем. Да, мы это хотим. Меня засосала опасная чайника.
Teapot seems even bigger inside than Madame Ping's. Huh. But there's just a whole load of nothing around it. I can't do that. Well, you're the one with the sword anyway. Still, why is it so empty? Oh, wait a second. What is that?
Вот это вот все пространство мы можем декорировать. Что-то строить, устанавливать. О, вот и... Ты кто?
Well, it seems that we have a...
It's a huge finch!
Зяблик.
Excuse me, I am not a finch.
Меня зовут...
Hang on a moment. What am I supposed...
Ой,
Call me, I suppose.
так. У нас тут есть... Это есть строение. Что это? Ага. Как мы тут это все ставим? Ага. О, ёкарный бабай. Так, а где здесь? Ага, тут вход, да? Берем куда-нибудь сюда. Давайте его где-нибудь вот здесь вот поставим. Только так вот. Аккуратненько. Подтверждаем. О! Кузнечное дело. О, у нас своя кузня есть. Это хорошо. Так, а что здесь? Ага. Тут еще у нас что-то есть. Всякое. Иди нафиг. А, какие-то копии, бля. Так. Где, что, когда? Ага, это схема. И эта схема. Короче, схему изучаем. Оп. Оп. Все, схем нет. Схем нет.
I can't decide whether pyro slime things taste better with salt and pepper or garlic and herbs.
Идем с пухляшом болтать. Что ты нам еще скажешь? Че, все? Еще декор. Так. Использовать, я сказал. Так что теперь у нас есть собственная обитель, где мы можем делать все, что мы хотим. Так. Для начала... Ой, это не то. Пальчик. Ландшафт. О, дерево. Иди сюда, дерево. Так, создать комплект. Что мы можем сделать? Так, стоп. Инкабел. Сохранить изменения. Так, это установить. Чайник. Чайник. Это нам пока... Как тут? А, это у пухляша. Так, посмотрим, что есть у пухляшика нашего. Стоять. Так, уровень доверия. О, денежки. Лобысь. Ух ты ж, мать твою. Так. Дальше что тут есть еще? Такс. Ого. Это нам не надо, пока не надо. Пламя бодрости пустынника. Ага. И дает нам... Так, здесь ничего такого нету, что нам бы помогло, ничего. 14 часов. Ух ты. Так, сокровищница, это что такое? Флакон скорости, круглый стол короля Артура. Короче, здесь можно покупать рецепты. Так, ладненько. Будем с этим разбираться дальше. Обратимся обязательно. Домик еще есть. Ну, а на этом мы с вами... О, стоп. Тихо. Тут что-то еще появилось. Пунька. Использовать. Больше ничего нет. Дальше. Получить. Так, опять мы используем. Фирмочка. Апчик. Это замечательно. Так. Мы можем отсюда сразу куда-то портироваться. Нет, не сюда. Мы сюда пойдем. У нас тут еще дела. Короче, мальчики, девочки, мы заполучили чайник. Теперь у нас есть чем заняться на досуге. Строить, украшать, получать награды, воплощать свои фантазии в реальность. Следующим нашим путешествием дворец небожителей. Так, том 1, глава 4. Да. Следующее наше будет задание, это вот это. А на этом мы с вами попрощаемся. Чайник мы заполучили. Делать нам пока нечего. Ах. Не ах. А на этом все. Всего хорошего. До свидания.